I sort of had a vague idea about a magazine, and you know, nothing came together. But I knew I wanted to work with Rosemary McLeod, so I asked if Rosemary could, you know, we could work together on it. And she came up with all those wonderful women in the office, the Magda and the, you know, Maxine and Jasmine and all of those characters, and which were just fantastic. And I also wanted this family because I was thinking about my childhood and about the old money thing. And so that's kind of where the family came in, with the matriarch that was Yvonne Lawley. And Maxine was to represent, you know, the new money, as it were, and at the same time get the fashion in there and all of that. So Rosemary wrote this marvellous format, and away we went.
In its style and its writing, in its urban setting, it was very Auckland, very conspicuous consumption, very fashion-oriented. You know, it was groundbreaking, if you like. And where something like Close to Home had been very suburban, very cardigans. These are shoulder pads, and that was the men, you know. A lot of fast cars, a lot of champagne, as indeed the late 1980s were all about.
There were all sorts of sect of people who really liked it. The gay community loved it, the fashion community really loved it, the arts community really loved it, and it had a certain cachet of filth and degradation about it, which was, you know, overconsumption, appalling abuse of privilege and that sort of thing, and that was great fun. And so, and it was very, very tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it walked a very fine line between high camp and drama, and at the same time comedy, and it walked that line very, very well.
James Griffin and I storylined the whole thing, and you know, and I was producing it as well. I mean, it was sort of like, oh yes, we can do that.
I think I mean, something that I've always done all through my career writing since then, and is that it blended humour and drama, often in the same scene.
I remember we sat down with this great big piece of paper, and we had all the characters going down one side, and we went, now how many episodes have we got? Right, well that's 1, 2, 3, and that goes there. So what would so-and-so's arc be? What would we like? You know, and we actually sort of started doing that, which I think is probably close to the right way of going about it. But we actually wrote all the storylines, James and I, right through all the episodes.
Very smart writing, you know, great writers who wrote for the characters, and over time they would write for you, the actor. And so I think that the writing improved.
We were all hooked on the scripts. We would read our scripts like they were weekly comics. We were so hooked on what was going to happen next. And as you say, the cast, we all got on so well.
It was a very particular style of visual style and performance style as well, and obviously costume style. So all of those elements meshing together in the right way kind of, you know, created the magic that was Gloss, really.
It was such a nice group of people. And I was so young, and I was the baby, so everyone looked after me. And I got to act every day. I got to do the thing that I loved the most in the whole world, with gorgeous people, outrageous costumes, and get paid for it. I couldn't bear the weekends. I just loved it so much.
It was a lovely time to work because the network really supported it. The writers and everyone worked really strongly, and the directors would come in and would work very strongly with us as well. We'd have read-throughs and rehearsals and so forth, and it was immensely valuable, and I really treasure those times. I've still got hundreds of tapes downstairs that are probably rotting away of that period, and it was immensely enjoyable. And of course I was 33 and pretty young, and thought I was pretty hot, really.
They used to have to spray all the props because I used to eat them. I had a big appetite, and didn't know you're not supposed to eat the props. So we used to have to, the directors would put lollies and scroggin and things in their pockets for me, and the art department would make a very clear sign of getting this whatever spray it was and go, Lisa, psst, you can't eat it. Psst.
What Liz Mitchell put pulled in from all the fashion houses. I was dressed by Trelise Cooper. Everybody was dressed by a different fashion house. And I could go through 7 sets of costumes a day. The marriage between what gloss was and what it represented to the fashion industry, it was a godsend to them, because it was all about style and it was all about taste and it was all about the 80s and it was all about success and it was all about old money versus new money. A great recipe for a great show.
Gloss was the first show that specifically set out to create stars, a star system. Janice Finn wanted to create these characters who were larger than life and, you know, arrogant and very un-New Zealand at the time. We were, you know, we were a polite, meek, Canadian-esque country a lot of the time, and she wanted Gloss to be brash and very 80s and very, you know, in your face. And she wanted the actors to be part of that world too. She wanted to create a star system.
One of the things that used to happen was that we'd be taken out somewhere and they'd say, well, all right, we'll turn up, and people didn't know how to treat us, you know, because we'd turn up and we'd sort of act like stars to a certain, I mean, we tried to, we had no idea that, you know, what you're obliged to do was to get drunk and smash things up and, you know, take too many drugs and fall down. None of us were into that. We got drunk occasionally and probably slept with their inappropriate people. Well, others did, I didn't, but it was one of those things. But my partner, Susan, was never invited, and it was frowned upon to have a partner in that public circumstance, because it meant you were unavailable, and that was very strange. And Susan hated it, of course, as you would.
It was only, I think we only shot 54 episodes, 25 years ago now. But, you know, to this day I still get clocked for, you know, aren't you that guy off Gloss? It's a certain generation that remember, you know, we all move through time.
We'd kind of taken a break to go, you know, have lunch at the pub just down in Vulcan Lane over there from the office, and they were talking to a fellow storyliner, and this guy kind of went, so what do you guys do? And we explained that we worked on Gloss. Oh, he went, oh, I don't watch that show. Don't watch that show. And I really hate it when blah, blah. And he then proceeded to kind of outline all these story points, and all at the same time as insisting that he hated it. And you kind of just go, well, yeah, we got you.
Kids thought I was a spoilt brat too, and so you get two different reactions. You get some kids jeering at you, you know, because I didn't even have a car, so I was catching the bus everywhere. You know, I was a spoilt little bitch and all that kind of stuff. And then you get this other extreme where like packs of schoolgirls who just thought Chelsea were the bee's knees.
It did have an impact because of the look, because it was outrageous really, and because it was slightly humorous. The one thing I remember vividly was how a lot of the male media commentators hated it with a passion. They were just outraged that it was on. I could never understand it. I just sort of used to think, what is wrong? What is wrong with it?
It's wonderful to get into your car every day and go to work and be made up and have your hair done and be put into designer clothes, be bitchy all day, be paid for it, and go home in the evening. I tell you, it's a doggy day. I loved every minute of it.